Pleasure to be here. It's not my first PMI conference, and I'm very glad to be amongst colleagues. We're all practitioners or in that path. And Buddha would be very upset with us when we admit that as project managers, we live in the future. Future is a stressful place to live in. There are lots of unknowns. Our weapon in project management is that we manage to reduce a little bit the uncertainty of the future by making plans, risk management, and applying our skills to be ready for the things when they happen. And we use the past to build lessons and experience, but we act now. So the future is a scary place, and how do we deal with it? One project at a time. So this is my new tagline for my presentation. Here I'm going to talk about the PM² advantage, the project management methodology of the European Commission, and how it can help us build the future in small chunks, one project at a time. A few years back, somebody asked me, what does it take to deliver a good presentation? I struggled with formulating that, thinking about the font size, the animations, and all that stuff. And I came up with this simpler recipe. Every presentation, every good presentation should have a mix of flowers, fruits, and seeds. Flowers representing impressive data and animations and all that stuff that catch our attention. Fruit being information, knowledge that you can actually consume, and seeds being that questions, the unanswered questions that maybe make you think in the future. So I will try and do a little bit of that today. And with this silly animation, I just raise the expectations a little bit higher. So as a project management consultant, I go around helping organizations improve project management. The good and the bad is that we all have the same, all organizations face the same or similar problems. Have to do with, as I mentioned, the future, have to do with coordinating teams, scheduling, limited resources, efficiency, effectiveness, quality, satisfaction. All these are very, very difficult problems to solve, and we use project management for that. Projects are never a walk in the park. No matter how much planning you do or how much confident you are, at some point there's trouble ahead. And project management is here to help us. Not to completely avoid that period of time, because that's going to happen, but to help us not live in issue management and crisis management world, but live in a world where we can plan and anticipate and make that pain less, the duration shorter, and help us bounce back. So we can acknowledge or pretend that we don't have problems, that these don't exist in our organization. And I understand there's many reasons why we can choose such a strategy. One of them being that projects, we're very involved in projects. We're too busy running projects to sit back and see how we can improve our project management. So the PM² methodology, the project management methodology, you multiply the two M's, you get the squared, is our weapon here. The European methodology developed by the European Commission with a clear purpose: to enable project teams, initially European Commission project teams, to manage projects in an effective and efficient manner for the purpose of delivering solutions to problems, delivering solutions and benefits to their organizations and their stakeholders. Something that we take for granted, but the first step is always common language. Saying and meaning the same things when we talk about stakeholders, risks, planning, schedules, milestones. Simple English words, but in also a European context, they might mean something slightly different. So this is a starting point of a methodology, a starting point actually of any journey of an organization that moves in higher maturity. I'm going to talk a little bit about the project of developing the PM² methodology, so a little bit about the story. And I want to start with this very generic question: where do projects come from? Because very often we start being involved from the moment that a project exists. But where does it come from? And we're very comfortable with this relationship. A project as a little black box that does stuff and produces deliverables. And we know more and more that outputs themselves are only useful when we use them. The real value of projects doesn't come from the outputs, the deliverables, but from what we can achieve with them, the outcomes and the benefits that come afterwards. But let's look backwards and see where these projects come from. They come from our way of implementing a specific solution. Solution to what? To a problem. A problem that's relevant to our organization, aligned with our strategy, and its solution will lead to benefits and value at the end. And this is the story of PM². There was a problem. The same problem that exists in many organizations. Non-ad hoc approaches, no common language, best efforts. So this was formulated in the form of we need better quality, we need better coordination, we need better results. The solution was to adopt a methodology. Now out of the many solutions, there were options, and the decision, and it's a sound decision with a very solid business case, is that it's easier and cheaper and better to create your own methodology at an organization size of that size than to try to tailor down, adopt the various options that were there. But also the key word is methodology, because there are not that many methodologies out there. So the story of PM², obviously you can't read the small font on purpose, so you listen to me. The story of PM² doesn't start today or a few years back. It starts in 2007, where the problem solution was identified. A project was put into place, not managed with PM² yet. A project was put into place to deliver the first versions of the methodology. Moving forward to 2011 and 2012, the adoption in the beginning for IT projects was such that we decided to build a training and certification program internal to the European Commission staff. Adoption, generic version for any type of project, not just IT, up to 2016, 15, 16, with other European institutions came to the European Commission and said, we're on the similar path as you, we'd like to adopt a methodology, and this PM² methodology is the most suitable for us. So essentially it became the de facto methodology for the European Union institutions. In 2016, myself and the co-author of PM², Sakis Maraslis, we put together a proposal that is now known as the Open PM² Initiative. If it works for the Commission, if it works for the institutions, why wouldn't it work for the rest of Europe? Particularly since the European Commission and European funds fund a very, very large portion of European projects. So this is what we did. A project well accepted and sponsored within the European institutions that led to the first open edition in 2016 and a conference which I will mention soon in 2018 that basically announced the vision of PM² for an open source and open methodology for Europe. Of course, the story continues past 2018, and you're welcome to check the PM² Alliance for the whole timeline. I mentioned this, the glorious conference of 2018 at Commission premises with over 2,000 participants from all over Europe mainly, but the world as well, as it was webcasted. The conference was sponsored by 5 major European Union institutions, coming on board this vision that I mentioned for the Open PM². This conference was the starting point also for the PM² Alliance, an initiative of practitioners like us that came together and start carrying the torch of this Open PM² vision outside the European Union institutions. I did try to find a joke with Tesla here, but it just wouldn't work, and perhaps it would create more adventures for me trying to. So I stick with Einstein. Smarter people than us said that energy comes from PM². And of course it's a joke because energy comes from people, we all know that, but efficiency gains from adopting a methodology, from using a methodology for running your projects, can release energy that you can then direct to the most important aspects of your project and project management. So there are many books out there, there are many frameworks and methodologies that present everything anybody wanted to know about project management in one nice publication or multiple publications. And it's exactly this. All the parts of project management are there. Extremely useful publications. But they are as useful to the users, to the practitioner, as a work breakdown structure is for managing your projects. An excellent starting point. But you need a schedule. You need to know what to do, when, and who. So this is what the PM² guides try to do. Our sponsor, IKEA here, tells us that we need a guide that helps us step by step, help us manage our project. And methodology would answer these questions, the infamous whys. What do I have to do to manage my project? When do I have to do it? How frequently? Who has to do it? Is it me? The lights fall always on the project manager as if they are a superhero that can do all those things that are described in the books. So we talk about a project management team. How do I do it? What are the skills? What are the tools? What are the templates that I can use? And of course, very important to understand, why am I doing any of this? So I don't only need the ingredients. I need a recipe. Now, the recipe for building products is there. It's our work breakdown structure, our schedule that answer these questions. What do I have to build or do? When do I have to do it? Who has to do it? How do I do it? Do I need nuclear physicists and IT people? And why? That builds the cake. But I'm talking about the project management cake. There is no schedule for project management. There is no set recipe for project management. The best we can do is have guidelines that bring us as close to what I mentioned. The PM² methodology is built on solid foundations. The Commission did not reinvent the wheel. Globally recognized project management best practices are the foundations. The PM² building or home is supported by 4 pillars: governance, roles and responsibilities, life cycle, a set of processes, management activities, and a set of what we call artifact templates that are given to you that help you document and manage your project. All these are integrated with what we call a set of productive mindsets that help us deliver solutions and benefits to organizations. Not only have more control, which is very much desired in project management, but also have a sense of agility. So the mindsets help us interpret the true spirit of the methodology. The PM² project management lifecycle is what you see on your screens. 4 phases, one after the other, just like the seasons. One finishes, the next starts, because you cannot be in 2 phases at the same time, in 2 periods of time at the same time. That doesn't mean necessarily that we only do initiating or planning in that phase. Of course, we do planning throughout the project or replanning. But the phases help us focus our project management attention for us and the team on what is important most important at that period of time. PM² provides us with a set of templates that are extremely useful and full of guidelines on how to document the outputs of our project management planning. These are organized per phase and are free for everybody to use. PM² gives us a swim lane diagram that shows us the input and the output documents for every phase with the phase gates there, helping us ask questions. Are we ready to move forward before we move on to the next phase? It's extended with an agile life cycle, integrating agile practices into the large, as it is known, serial at the large, iterative in the small, for those projects who need or can be agile. A powerful governance structure that not only acknowledges the role of the project manager, but puts a project management team around them to help them with the very, very important and difficult tasks of project management. And using the RASCI method, allocating the degree of responsibility to each one of those roles clearly. For everything that is in the PM² guide and for every role, there's a clear assignment. The 5th element that I mentioned is the mindsets, the philosophy of PM². Something that is often missing when we start being trapped in the mechanics of processes and methodologies. The PM² Alliance, the PM² mindsets remind us of effective behaviors, not only for the project manager, not only for the team, but the whole organization. For instance, I'll read the second mindset. We need to remain mindful that the methodologies are there to help the projects and not the other way around. We're not there to run methodologies. We're there to help the project succeed. So we need to interpret everything that is given to us to make it work for our project. Of course, other mindsets talk about collaboration, transparency, communication, become committed to improvement, and outcomes orientation, having our eyes not only on the outputs, but also on the long-term outcomes and benefits. Assigning roles to the most appropriate people, not just based on politics, convenience, but to those that can actually bring value to the project. Of course, I'm talking about the extended project management team as well. And finally, we draw inspiration from the PM² Code of Conduct and personal professional virtues that you'll find in the appendix based on Aristotle's theory, virtue theory. So the PM² methodology is condensed into one lean publication, extended with an agile addendum, and the two extra publications for program and portfolio management. You'll find these on the European Union Publications Office, free for download as PDF or to purchase. A few words about the PM² Alliance. The PM² Alliance, as I told you, was born out of this open PM² conference in 2018, brings professionals and volunteers from all over Europe, mainly for now. Its purpose is to carry the torch of the open PM² vision, to promote and evolve PM², and take PM² where no PM² has gone before. So, borrowing the vision from Star Trek, the world is still large for PM². It brings together the open PM² community, connecting practitioners, trainers, experts, and managers from all over Europe with the institutions, but also outside, member states, public sector and private sector, promoting better project management in Europe. This is essentially the mission of the PM² Alliance, enable better project management for the public benefit. Everything that we do is open source, and I invite you to, of course, become members, visit the site, and sign up to our manifesto. The PM² manifesto says that the future of project management depends on the community of project managers working together. A message that is quite strong because it's us that have the knowledge, it's us, the users of these methodologies, and we need to lead this. We know that effective project orientation is the key for organizations and society to deal with the many challenges of our time. Messages that are consistent with our discussion so far in this conference. We are convinced that project management does not need to be complicated, sophisticated, or require large upfront investments. And we agree that the time has come for the adoption of a lean and effective project management methodology for Europe to start with. At the PM² Alliance, we invest in the simplicity of the PM² approach rather than developing or trying to develop it into becoming a complete super toolbox. We advocate the establishment of the PM² mindsets and the essential dissemination of effective project management and team behavior. We promote the PM² governance model as an indispensable pillar of project management and a success enabler for the creation of value for stakeholders. And we evolve the PM² methodology to cover the community's needs through the coordinated involvement of the community itself. The PM² Alliance provides an incentive and a reward for those who have invested in learning more about the PM² methodology. This is the positioning of the PM² Alliance certifications. Presented in 3 levels. 1 level, knowing. 2nd level, knowing enough so I can help myself in using it. 3rd level, knowing enough so I can help others use it as a trainer, as an expert. So the PM² Alliance builds the ecosystem of PM² outside the European Union institutions. Through advisory committees, volunteer network, regional coordination, affiliate training providers and affiliate certification agents, professional certification program, a train-the-trainer program, a strategic partnership network, publications that are open source, organizational members, students ambassadors network, and academic network. We strive to take PM² to every member state to start with and every corner of the world eventually. We also have a very successful train-the-trainer program. So if any of you is interested in coming on board as a trainer now and reaching the 3rd level of certification, please do so. All the information is on their website. And I close with the link of the website, type PM² Alliance, it'll come up first, and explore the publication sections where you'll find all the publications free for download without even registering first. With an open source license, which is very important, that means you can use it yourself, you can edit it, you can send it around to your contractors and your partners, and use it freely, as the purpose of these publications is to add value to project management. So, evolution is inevitable, and PM² plays its role in the evolution of project management in the right direction. As I mentioned, evolution sometimes happens spontaneously by itself, but in our case of project management, it's with the involvement of people. So my closing message is to reiterate one of the important aspects of the manifesto, that the future of project management depends on us, depends on the community of project management working together in conferences like this one, in communities like also the PM² Alliance, in improving project management in ways that serves us as users. This is it. I close my presentation here, bringing back a reminder of the original expectations. I hope you got some flowers, got some fruit for consumption, and a few seeds that will grow inside you for the future. Thank you.